strapping. Feel the hum in your hands. This is 4D. Heat on my palms, grip locked, heart racing. Shoes hit the pedal, whole room shaking. Jersey on my back, hat pulled low and blazing. Every turn I take, got the ghosts I'm chasing. 4D in my veins, feel that fire when I play, when I move.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome to CRN's live coverage of the CSRL GT Series. Round number 3, we head to the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway. A lot of these drivers got to cut their teeth this past weekend in the Daytona 24 here on iRacing. Myself and my co-host here included. Certainly, it has its challenges for sure. It's 24 hours of racing. Doesn't matter how good or bad your team is. You'll pretty much experience just about everything. So it is it's definitely fun, but it is grueling. Here tonight, only 45 minutes. So I mean, these drivers should have ease here tonight. There shouldn't be any kind of issues. Say that certainly tongue-in-cheek. We'll see how it happens. But Carl Lambert joining the booth with Jimmy Gover. Jimmy back here, and now we get to just sit back and not have to worry about a car out there. We just get to watch these cars out here at Daytona.
Yeah, I mean, we were out there for quite a long time. Obviously, only 45 minutes. Carl, that's like pretty much not even a full tank of gas.
No, not even a stint.
Yeah, so, obviously yourself was in the car for quite some time and, out there and just looking at the times, everybody's running, 145 is kind of like just what we were running there. So kind of feel good what our chances would have been if we were out here actually on the track with everybody. Fastest lap on the track right now is by Ricky Rob, but I don't think it counted.
Yeah,
so
Ricky Renner,
yeah.
144.81. Now it is a little bit different because these drivers obviously starting with the other 40% fuel, so they get the fresh tires and less than a half a tank of fuel. So those times are going to be a little better than maybe what some of you seen in the Daytona 24. But again, this is round number 3 for the drivers here at CSRL. Last weekend we had Adelaide, and we got to see No Bourgeois finally, actually take the pole, get out there and get himself a win. It's amazing if he just completes the first damn lap. It's amazing what he can do. Well, it slows the points to 5 points. He's got a 5-point deficit right now to Craig Jancic on top of the boards. Mason Smith in third, Bryce Reiner and Jason Phillips for your top 5. In at the Platinum Division, it is Steve McLean up by, I got to do some math because we got a 0.5 in there, so we're looking at 16 and a half points over Christian Ortiz-Torres, Frank Pisano, Herbert Pineda, and Jim Dutton in your top 5 for the gold. In the silver, it is Jim Herrick on top by a mere 4 points over John Espada, as both of them seem to be some of the drivers that to certainly watch in the silver. But Ian Southern right up there as well, only another 4 points back, so kind of a 3-horse race right now at the top. Ian Wilson, Stephen Price for your top 5. And then your top running rookie right now is also top of the boards, Ricky Renner. I'm sure once he gets slotted out there into the in the divisions and the classes, he'll probably go right to the Platinum and join the likes of Jansen, Bourgeois, Smith, and the others up there. But he is certainly one to watch out there in the 53. We got to watch him last night and kind of joking around, saying he's been in the Core Xfinity Series now for this season, and his goal, jumping out of the road side of it, jumping into the oval side of it, he's trying to just keep it clean. He's trying to not be a bonehead basically, and stay off the penalty radar. I mean, so far so good for him over there. But Jimmy, when all you do is run oval and then you hop over road or vice versa, it can get a little difficult, and it's certainly a learning curve. You can definitely take some things, but not everything translates.
No, it doesn't all translate. I mean, some things you can take with you from, from area to area, I guess. But it's definitely a little bit different, especially the type of cars. These cars obviously made to handle and get into those corners and getting the throttle, you don't have to brake as long, just there's all kinds of different antics with these cars, but it always puts on a great show. But another night of a 40 car field, and looking out there, I don't know if we should call this CSRL GT3 series or CSRL Porsche series.
Well, yeah, it's certainly a little bit of Porsches out there. I would say probably about
just a little,
maybe 75%, maybe close to 90% of Porsches out there, and it's no surprise the Porsche was certainly the meta car for this year at Daytona, and it's what we used for our team out there. Certainly with the iRacing Daytona 24, you have the BOP, the balance of power. iRacing kind of tries to even out the field by reducing the power in some of the cars, by reducing the fuel amount, adding weight, things like that to kind of equal it out, so there's not one car that is just absolutely dominant. But here in league racing, you don't have that, and that's why you see here tonight that the Porsche is very, very dominant. Do have a couple of Lamborghinis sprinkled in there throughout the top 16, but yeah, it looks like I want to say 20 out of the top 23 are Porsches, so kind of gives you a clear idea. But we're done with qualifying here. I mean, this is the World Center of Racing, and Jimmy, there's really no other track that I could think of that is as popular on the oval side as it is on the road side as well. I mean, you got the Daytona 500 here, you got the Rolex 24 here on the road side of it. I mean, yeah, you got the Roval at Charlotte, and I know that that's nicknamed America's home for racing, but I don't think there's any track really in the world that is as popular on the oval and the road side as Daytona has for both.
Yeah, it definitely has its balance of share here tonight, but tonight they line up here, all 40 drivers getting in there to start, and I can go ahead and run down that list here before they get rolling, as Ricky Renner will be your pole sitter here tonight, with Noah Bourgeois on the outside. Bryce Reiner and Craig Jancic make up row number 2. Tyler Torville and Christopher Hamilton back there in row number 3. Row number 4, Devin Young and Herbert Pineda. Row number 5 is going to be Kyle Kobler with Stephen McLean. That's your top 10. And back to the rest of the field, you have JP Phillips in 11th. Jason Phillips. Jason Phillips in P11. Christian Torres in 12th. James Pierce out there tonight in the 238 and 13th. Alex Zard out there in 14th. Frank Pisano in 15th. Dave Tilford in 16th. Austin Green in 17th. Javi Sierra out there in 18th. Brandon Potts in 19th. David Wells in 20th. Michael Schwartz comes in 21st. Eileen Blue back there in 22nd. Jim Dutton back in 23rd. Cesar Colon Torres in 24th. Ian Southern in 25th. Dylan Gruchmacher back there in 26th. Bill Burrell back in 27th. Daniel Pinkston back in 28th. Jay Littles 29th. John Espada back in P number 30. Jim Herrick in 31st. Zane Bierman in 32nd. Paul Bailey in 33rd. 34th is Randall Lemma. 35 is Todd Torville. 36 is Stefan Price. 37 is Jason Potts. Ian Wilson for car number 38. Matt Lemke back in 39. And your 40th car, John Matthews. More cars out here tonight than we had to deal with. Well, not total, but more GT3s out here than we had to deal with on a 24-hour.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't mind being up here in the booth for this one. Hopefully everything is, stays nice and clean in regards to the graphics and everything like that. Did some changing of the settings and everything like that, and hopefully we get a cleaner race here than we have for the first couple out there, especially with 40 cars out there. But Daytona can be very taxing on any one system, so hopefully we get a good one out here. But yeah, 40 cars once again out here. Want to shout out our pole sitters for each of the divisions, as Ace Motorsports, the sponsor for that one, with Noah Bourgeois, Devin Young, and Ian Southern, your pole sitters. But it's time to go racing here at Daytona as the green flag is waving to head off into turn number 1. And Jimmy, one thing we did realize this season in the Daytona 24 is you cannot go outside that white line anymore. That is now a penalty.
Yeah, Dave Tilford getting a little hot down in the turn one, going a little bit sideways, but everybody seems to have gathered up and make it through quickly.
You got
so
one spun around there.
Yeah. Oh man, I lost him.
Looks like it's Tyler Torville off to the side there. Didn't make it to the International Horseshoe. In through the kink, which I don't even want to talk about the kink. We'll talk about that at some point, I'm sure.
In your heart.
Western Horseshoe.
We'll hit that or miss that later.
Too soon. And now to the infield exit as we'll come back out there towards NASCAR turn number 1. For the most part, these drivers doing a good job. One thing, with all these drivers having so much experience here at Daytona, you do see some different names mixing it up throughout the field, and you go from a brand new track at Adelaide last week to it's probably one of the most well-known here and most driven with Daytona this week. So Jekyll and Hyde for sure. But right now it is Noah Bourgeois out front, but heading into the bus stop for the first time. Just like turn number 1, not being able to go wide out of turn number 1 anymore and taking the quote-unquote esports line. The bus stop has made some changes as well, and it can get a little hairy with these new turtles and just kind of everything looking just a little bit different.
Yeah, they definitely got some height to them, and if you go slow enough, obviously you can park on them. I mean, take the car up off the ground where you won't even be able to move. I tested that out when I was testing limitations of the vehicles for the Daytona 500. Trying to make sure all the off tracks were, or you could cut corners if you had to. All that fun stuff that you should be doing to kind of prep yourself for multi-class racing. You can't always run that optimal line like the leader can for the most part, but probably trying to hold off. But draft would be a big part here for some of these drivers, and they want to hold on to that to kind of keep them in tow with each other. You can get a group of drivers working together early on and pull away and put some space or catch people. So we'll see how that works. But a few movers so far to the race. James Pierce up 4 spots in P number 9. And Lane Blue up 7 spots in P15, and it does look like Dylan and Cesar Torres are up with 4 and 5 spots. So a little bit of movement in the field, but definitely looking good so far. As the battle is, everybody's probably I think settling in right now, just kind of following each other around. It's kind of early on to get too worked up over who's leading and whatnot. Right now it's just hitting your marks, being safe, keep your maybe save some fuel, don't let the guy in front of you pull away too far, and keep things going. But it's Porsche for sure through the majority of the field, at least for the top 10. So you get back there to Stephen McLean, number 85.
We'll take a look back here and see what happened to Tyler Torville on the start of it. It looks like just one of only a few cars that had a bit of issues here on these opening laps. If I can get back to it here. I see a couple of drivers off track, but it was Tyler Torville. See right here, just getting a little bit of a bobble off of that curving through the S's there. Noses it into the wall. Looks like the rear end's going to stay on there, but he did bring it into the pits already and took himself to the back of the pack with a fast repair. But looks like we just had another issue here with a couple of drivers. John Espada has got a meatball here, so we got to see what happened to John here as see that he entered pit lane. I'm trying to see where the incident actually happened.
Yeah, probably back at the 733. Lap 3, Jim Herrick passed him. 731.
Oh, right there.
Right
there. Oh, wow. Okay, it said that he entered pit lane. He did. And Jimmy, if you haven't seen it, it is the first one on there for lap number 3. And we'll take a look at that one more time. Looks like he just got a little bit loose on the inside there of turn number 1. Maybe tried to cut in there to hold the position over Daniel Pinkston. And He got to experience the exit of pit road before
and
even
he blew
touching
up,
pit
too.
road, and yeah, he had to tow back to pit lane from that. So that is not going to be a good start there for John Espada. Not only did he get a meatball, got a black flag, had to tow back to pit road. It's rough one here for the driver of the 81. But it's certainly, I'm sure Jim Herrick doesn't mind seeing that at all. But Ian Southern is the one that is leading the silver class right now, as he's up there just outside the top 20. So good start here for the 444. And we've certainly seen some good running here since he joined over with the Ace Motorsports team as well. And it's got him, as we mentioned earlier, up in third place in the points coming in here tonight. But at the front, it is Noah Bourgeois, your leader, Ricky Renner in second, Craig Chancik now up into third, Bryce Reiner, Chris Hamilton for your top 5. Hamilton does have the fastest lap of the race here so far, the only one to crack into the 44-second range. So we'll see if that's going to keep that pack tight, as right now it looks like it is a 5-car breakaway back to Chris Hamilton. Then about a 1.8-second difference between Hamilton and Devin Young back there in 6th.
Yeah, that 44 range, that's that area where we were chasing for the 24-hour event, trying to get in there. It's just with all the traffic and stuff like that, it's tough. At least the drivers out here, obviously, they gotta battle with each other, and they gotta make sure they hit their marks, save their tires, save fuel, whatever they need to do to overcome and get the best position and finish as possible. But they don't have that GTP. That's these drivers are getting around in 145. They were getting around in I want to say 135 or 132, something like that. It was crazy. It took 7 laps. About every 7 laps, you're getting the GTP car to lap you. So it was kind of crazy. As somebody takes to the pit there, it looks like Michael Schwartz heading in here early. So hopefully he doesn't have any damage.
And it's not a bad move if you come in to the pits here early, because you're going to come out there in free air and you can kind of run your own race. You're not going to have the draft, you're not going to have that benefit, but if you're just uncomfortable in the position that you're in out there on the track, good thing to just kind of pull in there early. But one thing I got to say, with the dominance of the Porsches out there as the go-to car, is you get to see the Porsche pace car back out there with Chris Hamilton in 5th place right now. And certainly the pace car got some pace out there as he turns in another 144 that last time, 144.76. Granted, he's getting a nice little tow there from Bryce Reiner and all the rest of them up front. Ricky Renner also clocking in with a 144.91 last lap by. So nobody really stretching out here. The top 5 still covered by only 1.3 seconds. Then you see the little gap back there, Devin Young and Herbert Pineda. Well, for the most part, good start here for the field.
A great start. Obviously, a small 5-car breakaway up front, and then obviously you were talking about, they start breaking off. It does look like Herbert Pineda is going to get around Devin Young, or at least attempt to, as he goes on the outside. Looks like he's going to make it work. So maybe a slow down or just a bad run out of the bus stop can do that, or he can lose a spot coming out like that. We got Kyle Kobler showing his colors here tonight, up pretty high in P number 8 in the top 10. Jason Phillips there in 9th, and James Pierce coming down in the pits here. So another driver looking to maybe just switch it up just a little bit, come in and get that early pit stop and wrap things up and get back out there. So we've seen James Pierce on the track many times. He's definitely got some speed. I don't know how often he's been out here, but obviously Daytona, one of them tracks where once you got it, and a few laps can really warm you up to get you into where you need to be. So we'll see where that 238 comes back out to play here for James. But no, Bourgeois, your leader still. And then where is our battles?
That's what I'm trying to float around and look for. Pretty much
18th.
Yeah, looking right now at Devin Young as he's right ahead of Kyle Kobler there in the battle for 7th and 8th. We got Jason Phillips right there as well. But I mean, all in all, the field really kind of spread out here already. You see the track map. I know it doesn't look like they're spread out, but that's a pretty good spread throughout the entire field. Just so a lot of drivers within drafting range of the car in front, which is kind of the important thing. Looks like Will Burrell might have had a bit of an incident here, and Jimmy, you got a little kinky.
It did get a little kinky. It's not the place that you want to be, though. You know, you get out there just a little bit, catch some grass. Next thing you know, the car's going around. You know, and hopefully you can not let it get too out of control where you smack one portion of your car, or you know, if you're a pro at it, you'll hit both sides of the car.
Well, you know, if you're going to do it, you do it right, is the way I look at it. Just going to throw that out there. But while we get a chance, why don't we hop on board here with Kyle Kobler here and take a lap around Daytona. Jimmy, you want to give us a lap around Daytona when we hop on board here with Kyle Kobler as he's battling here with Devin Young?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and hop on board here with Kyle Kobler as he works his way around the track here. And right now, where is he at?
International Horseshoe.
Yeah, down to the International Horseshoe, your first horseshoe in the infield, and down around the treacherous kink is where it's pretty much all out, but you got to watch and how the car feels, or you can lose the rear end. Then you get down into the second hairpin, down a few gears, come out and run down to turn number 7, which takes you up onto the raceway. You want to make a nice tight turn there at the apex, and this is where you get your first kind of run with a lot of speed. You get off to that big banking, work your way down to the inside, catch the draft, try to hold each other. But a lot of drivers, some drivers, not all drivers, I guess some drivers with lack of experience want to make the pass before this bus stop. You can see down here they breaking going down the bus stop. You got an apex here, and then you got 2 more apexes. If you set this up right, you can get a really good run out of here using that draft. Now you have an even longer, a longer straight. It's not really a straightaway, but a longer stretch of road that you can use that draft and hopefully catch up to the driver in front of you and maybe make a pass. If you look at the rules and stuff, down below the yellow line is actually off limits. So if you're down there, you end up getting a slowdown or a 1X, and this is turn number 1 here. And Carl said the E line, that's just off to the right here, but nowhere near that here as they hit the apex for turn number 1. Down through the S's a little bit and back down to this International Horseshoe. And that's a full lap around Daytona. You know, it's just under 2 minutes, but when you're out there for stint after stint after stint, you need to hit these marks over and over again, especially in an endurance race. It can really wear down, and you do get comfortable, and if you get out of the car, you can get cold, so your pace might be off just a little bit. But these drivers right here, you know, right along with Kyle Kobler.
Not to jump in here, that is Craig Jancic that has spun.
Oh no.
We'll have to take a look and see what happened here to the 97. Just a little bit too hot out of the Western Horseshoe. Spins it around down into the grass. Gets it back going safely on the right-hand side there. But he is going to lose several positions. Was up there in the top 5, now back into 8th. And that is not what the points leader wanted to see right there. So he's going to have a little bit of a battle back here. One thing I'm not seeing, though, Jimmy, I mean, certainly you want to be in the draft, but it's a shame that the draft doesn't really work in a sense of, you know, getting you up there to make a pass on somebody. Like, you know, right now, like Ricky Renner should be able to draft up to Noah Bourgeois and be able to make a pass if he wanted to. And right now it's a 2-car breakaway, so maybe he doesn't want to. And you see him right there getting behind Bourgeois and giving him a little shove down the front stretch. I mean, they're both in Porsches. It should be easy enough to draft each other. And you see back there, it's like Chris Hamilton having to the inside here. Bryce Reiner doesn't want to lose these top 2s. They'll go side by side through turn 1. Reiner battling, but he's going to lose out to Hamilton here. Has a little bit of flash in there. Not sure if that was a good move, Flash, or damn you got me, Flash. But either way, Hamilton now up into 3rd. But it is Bourgeois, Renner, Hamilton, Reiner, and Pineda now for your top 5, as Pineda is your leader here in the gold division, and leading this second pack here, the second charge, with Young, Kobler, Jancic, and Phillips in this little breakaway. And then Alex Zart is kind of just out there by himself. He's got 2 seconds up to the group in front of him, and got almost a second behind him to Steve McLean in 3rd. Ian Southern,
I like that spot.
Stay safe. Ian Southern doing a good job still back here now, up into 17th place as few cars having some issues, few cars coming to the pits early, so now up into the top 10 for Ian Southern, and he's already got a 12.5-second lead over second place Jim Herrick in the class, so good run here for the 444. But yeah, Jimmy, as you mentioned, you get in the groove when you're in there. I mean, I was in the car for the first 5 stints for our Daytona 24, which is roughly about, I'd say about 4.5 hours. It's shy of 5 hours, but you get back out, and you know, I came in several hours later to do my double stint, and I had no issues in that first one. And all of a sudden, I come back in, and it wasn't me that was cold. It was my brakes, because I had some mechanical issues. my brakes weren't exactly working too well, and between that being on my mind and cold tires, came through the kink on my second stint, and the second time I was in the car, and yeah, well, obviously didn't work out too well, and unfortunately been the car for us. And it's okay. It's not like we were leading or anything, you know, because that would have sucked. Yes, we were of course leading. That's beside the point. So yeah. I'm not still mad. I mean,
we recouped and maintained. We fell back a few spots. We did get a chance to get a run up to 5th, and obviously, you know, I got spin there by the whoever's in 25th space, right there off of turn 1 into the S's.
Oh, it backs up into. He backed up into Stephen Price there as well. I just got a little bit of blinking here. With I was running dilemma that went off track. But yeah, we're
still trying to gather it up.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's just a bad spot where he spun right there in turn number 1. Heading into the S is a very fast kind of section of the track. It's slow and in one aspect, but it's also fast going through there, because you're trying to keep all the speed in there, and you're trying to get back on the gas to get through those S's. It had you down to the International Horseshoe, and unfortunately, you got the pit road wall right there blocking your view for some of the drivers out there, and I'm sure that's why some contact was made there. But out front, it is definitely a 2-car breakaway right now. 2.5 seconds between these top 2, and Chris Hamilton currently in 3rd, but you see Bryce Reiner back in 4th place. I wonder if he's going to dive to the inside like Chris did. He's going to stay behind here. And I think these 2 drivers right here, regardless of how they feel about the passes that have gone on so far, you got to work together, or they're going to lose these front 2.
Yeah, you have to. Like, there's a point where, like, you want to race and you want to get by, but if you want the opportunity to catch 1st and 2nd, then you're going to have to work together. There's no doubt about it. And 1st and 2nd need to make some sort of mistake. But if these 2 can get hooked up, draft together, push each other down the straightaways, whatever it may be, they have an opportunity or chance. It just really depends on if No Bourgeois and Ricky Renner are working together. And Ricky's been around long enough, Carl, and you know, he's been out there. He knows that, you know, he's over 4K iRating, so you know, if you're gonna run officials and you're gonna run stuff like this, that's what drivers do. They work with each other until it's almost time, and then they throw elbows out. But when you're out front, you want to try to pull away. That gives you that opportunity to battle, and if you do lose a spot or lose some time, you're not losing to like half the pack here. So got a 4-car breakaway, but they're just out of each other's draft here. So we got 2 different groups right now that are battling there. But I was back there watching. It was back there at Jim Herrick, as that battle has broke up a little bit. Yeah, but now, you know, moving back up to where like Ian Southern and Javi Sierra, just, you know, they're, you know, another set of drivers mid-pack here, and just around each other, and you can see them coming out of the bus stop. It's a little bit different. Yeah, it's just right where the battles are at. They're kind of gonna, you know, ebb and flow up and down. Just really depends on who gets a good run. Does look like Craig Jancic is trying to get back up there, as he's in 6th now, right on the tails of Devin Young, and then he has to work his way up through the rest of the field.
He was able to get around Kyle Goldler here on this lap, and now he's got sights set on Devin Young, currently in 5th place. But this is, you know, we talked about Bourgeois and kind of, you know, joked about him having the pole in race number 1, kind of threw it away with the contact with Jancic, but fought back to a decent finish at least. And then, you know, you're looking right here at Greg Jancic, kind of the same situation. He didn't start on the pole, started fourth, but he knows that to be in this championship hunt and to not let Noah or Chris or anybody kind of get back in there and have any kind of major advantage, he's got to minimize the mistakes. He made a mistake here, dropped back to 8th, already worked his way back to 6th right now. He's got 5th in sights, and you know, with his pit stop ability, there's top 3 maybe not necessarily be out of the question yet for Greg Jancic, but the times are definitely starting to drop here as it's getting a little bit later in the fuel run. So we're seeing a lot of drivers now with 144 laps, and a lot of them running their fast laps of the race the previous time by. But No Bourgeois is the one out front. He's about to complete another lap here at Daytona. We're just about at that halfway point, and our silver leader, Ian Southern, with some issues here. We'll take a look and see what happened. This is entering the bus stop. You see him leading here in the Porsche. And right away, entering the bus stop, gets a little bit loose. And that was some pretty heavy contact on the right front.
Right front.
But
hanging out with me too much.
Somehow, it looks like he didn't get a meatball, but that thing looks like it is grabbing a little bit here. I think he's going to have to bring that thing straight into the pits. As we'll get you back live here. And yeah, he does get it right back into the pits to get that fast repair. But that is going to give up a big chunk of the lead in the class that he had. Now Jim Herrick is going to go on by. We're not going to show him for too long because it's never good when we do. But he's now your leader in the class. Okay, good talk. Let's get off of Jim Herrick here real quick. And we'll catch you up here back to the leaders here, No Bourgeois. But Bryce Reiner right now and Chris Hamilton is technically their closest battle here on the track, as Reiner pushing Hamilton around, trying to keep pace with those front two.
They have to work together, and Bryce is doing, you know, if he wants to work with Chris or not, you know, it's kind of what he needs to do in order to give himself the opportunity to get, you know, the race. Because if he just goes around Chris is going to hug out his back bumper. So, you know, these two here can swap if they want to. If they want to, you know, maybe save fuel or whatnot. Obviously, the less fuel you can take when you come in, it might help you get back out on the track, you know, around Chris anyways. Or maybe you've saved enough and you can get to the back of the front pack there, the No Bourgeois, Mickey Renner. But those two are kind of on a rocket ship hooked up together, trying to run away here as we are 20 minutes are we into this thing. We're a little bit into this race right now, so we've still got some time left. We got about 30 minutes remaining, right? So
now we're about just past halfway, so we got about 22 minutes remaining, plus the added stoppage there. So we're going to go ahead and, even though it's Porsche dominated here tonight, we're going to go ahead and crank it up here, give everyone out there in Sierra Nation would love to hear it with the Porsche Cup here at Daytona.
Porsche Cup.
Sights and sounds here of the CSRL GT series at Daytona International Speedway. And we've seen a couple things develop here. We've seen a few incidents here on the track, but Ricky Renner has made his pit stop, as has the entire field cycle through, and he is now your leader after having only taken 15.1 seconds for his pit stop compared to Bourgeois' 16.3. That extra fuel that Bourgeois was burning has put him behind at the 53 for the time being. We can see him start to reel him in. It was about 9/10 of a second, which is within drafting range, and he seems slowly reeling in that 53 here at the front. Bourgeois running the fastest lap of the race at last time by with a 1:44.44. When Reiner is in third, kind of all by himself right now, as he's about 4 seconds behind the top two. Chris Hamilton behind him in fourth place. Jancic has moved himself up into fifth, but he is about 7 seconds behind these top four guys. So maybe top five, all he can hope for here tonight, unless somebody has some kind of issues here before this thing is over. But you see the issues, that the blinking, the gremlins, starting to kind of creep up here a little bit. So I do apologize for the choppiness here. Daytona is a beast when it comes to trying to run 40 cars out here with you know, the graphics not looking like blocks. So it can be a little taxing here on any system. But either way, we are now down to about 12 minutes left in this race, Jimmy, and we'll see who's got the top spot here tonight. Bourgeois can get back past Renner, or the rookie gets the win.
I mean, like, you know, he's a rookie here
Yes,
at CSRL. Obviously, we've seen Ricky out on the track and over there at Core GT, so we definitely know that Ricky's got some pace and speed and doing a good job here at Daytona right now over at Bourgeois, and you know, they're out to a nice lead. Those two, obviously, they're battling together, and they got some time. They're at 33 minutes, so they still have 12 minutes to kind of fight for these positions, but they got to be careful not to kind of get tangled up with each other, or they can fall quickly, as Bryce Reiner is in P3. That's Christopher Hamilton. Craig Jancic has made it back to the top five, but he's 4 seconds back from Christopher Hamilton. And then you have Kyle Kobler, James Pierce, Jason Phillips, Herbert Pineda, and Alex Zart for your top 10. Then the rest, I mean, more drivers out the field: Devin Young, Alain Ballou, Stephen McLean, Frank Pisano, Christian Torres, Javi Sierra, Michael Schwartz, Austin Green, Jim Dutton, and Dylan Guatzmacher. Or Grutzmacher, back there for your top 20. So, yeah, I mean, the drivers are doing a great job. Everybody's kind of spread out. I'm looking at the intervals. There's a kind of a battle-ish right around like the first, 7th and 8th, like 6th, 7th, and 8th, right behind the 97. Excuse me, the 27, the Kyle Kobler.
Yeah, Kobler, Pearson, Phillips right here.
Yeah, and then you have Stephen McLean, Christian Ortiz Torres, and Frank Pisano, and another group of three battling it out as well. But that's back there in 14th, 15th, and 16th. But you know, there's a lot of drivers out here, Carl, and obviously you keep hearing kind of the same names towards the top. But that's, you know, why they're in the platinum, and that's why, you know, well, these rookies that are out here, they'll join the platinum as well, I'm sure. But it's definitely where everybody's kind of at right now, and this is a very comfortable track for some drivers. So, but got to move here into the bus stop here. Just back here with, yeah. So.
Schwartz just getting around Javi Sierra there to move himself up into 16th place. Looks like James Pierce gonna get a black flag here. Not sure why, if it's too many incidents potentially, but he's gonna have to bring the 238 in from the top 10, and that is gonna throw his top 10 finish away here tonight. So tough break with the 238. Still pretty close here at the front, a half second separating Renner from Bourgeois, and it'll be real interesting to see where Renner kind of falls out. Obviously, you know, looking to get into that platinum division, but you see where he kind of falls into the points battle as well. Didn't exactly have the accolade that he wanted, getting taken out right there in the beginning, along with Chris Hamilton, which is why both of them lost out on a ton of points, unfortunately. But be interesting, you know, once maybe he has a full season under his belt, see how he competes with these drivers like Bourgeois, Reiner, Hamilton, Jancic, and the likes of the rest of the platinum drivers. But Kyle Kobler was your gold champion last season, now up into the platinum, and you see him doing a pretty good job out here tonight, up 3 spots, up into 6th position. Your top driver, as far as moving up through the field, is a lane below. He's up 11 spots after starting back there in 22nd, just outside the top 10 right now. So good run for the 509 and running 3rd in the gold class as well. Biggest faller here of the race is, as far as drivers are still on the track, Tyler Torville. We've seen his incident on lap number 1, going through the chicane there through 2, 3, and 4, heading to the International Horseshoe, and just lost it, put it into the wall, and fell all the way to the back of the pack, but made his pit stop on lap number 1, trying to make his way back up through the field as much as possible. He's down 18 spots after starting in the top 5. Finally gets a good qualifying effort here in the 22, and unfortunately it gets thrown away on lap number 1, but up there in 23rd position right now. Maybe can sneak out a a top 20 potentially, depending on how his speed is the rest of the race. But we're down to the last 7 minutes here, Jimmy. It's definitely I mean, it's kind of always go time for these races, but you know, there's no cautions or anything like that. But no. For Renner and Bourgeois, it could very well be time to really keep an eye on this battle, because Bourgeois has certainly reeled him back in. It's now 0.3 of a second. May have some lap traffic coming up here in just a little bit, but I'm sure it's Ian Wilson there will end up moving out of the way to allow these drivers to go on by. It's been a pretty good one here at the front, but kind of surprising how everything spread out after the Jancic issue, where he ended up losing the car, and that kind of spread out the top 5 here. It was a 5-car breakaway, but now you see the 2 right here, and that is the 53 Renner and the 24 of Bourgeois.
Yeah, and they're coming down the straightaway, and Noah's got that draft, and he's got to figure out a way to get around, and you can see him going down to the inside as Ricky gave him just the slightest of room down there. It took advantage of it right and then and now. So obviously knowing that there's still a few laps to go, Noah's pretty good at maintaining and occupying a line, so he should be able to fend off Ricky. But this thing's not over yet by far, none. And now it's Ricky on the attack, so just has to keep in touch with the back bumper of the 24 and use it wisely and make that move. It's going to be hard. I don't know how many times we went down into turn 1, whether it was you in the car, me in the car, Derek or Larry or Dane. I wasn't around for many of Dane's stints, but that turn 1, all you had to do is kind of just stay down to the inside, and the driver behind you would have to follow you pretty much through the infield, and then try to get a stab at you again coming down that straightaway. And you're talking about the draft, and I remember a few years ago where the draft was huge, where it'd pull you around, almost 2 seconds back, and it would launch you around like you had an extra 10% more pedal than anybody else. So they have made changes. I mean, the draft is there. It's just not as strong as it used to be quite a few years ago now.
No, it's unfortunate, really, because I think we'd see some really great battles. But we're here at Super Speedway, Jimmy. We talk about it a lot on super speedways when we're on the oval side of it. Do you want to be in the lead when you come down to the white flag, or do you want to be in second place? You got to ask the same question here at Daytona when it comes to Renner and Bourgeois here. Do you want to be in the lead when the white flag comes out here, knowing that the guy behind you is going to have that draft into the bus stop, and then out of the bus stop for that last run to the line. I mean, you see it takes quite a bit for the draft to kind of wind up, and I'm not sure, you know, unless you get a really better run out of the bus stop than the guy in front of you, if you can use enough of that draft to make the pass. But where would you want to be?
Typically, Carl, I would like to be in like right behind, if anything, right behind. If the guy in second has the ability to be right in my bumper, I'd rather be behind them instead of in front of them, hoping to at least hold my fate on getting to the bus stop without messing it up and then having to, like, you can't defend the whole width of the track, and that's just comes down to it. So if you start floating high, he goes low, gets a bumper underneath you, you're done. So and you can't quite hug the bottom the whole way around, you know, or you'll just wash out anyways and then be slow. So you got to run your lines, you have to hit your marks. But right now, Noah Bourgeois has gotten around Ricky Renner for the lead. So back to the point here. As looks like Matt Lemke having some issues here late in the race. But it's Noah, Ricky, Bryce, Chris, and then Craig Jancic for your top 5.
We're going to have a pretty good battle here in the back half of the top 15. We got Steve McLean out here. Looks like James Pierce back out there in 14th, right in front of McLean. And it's kind of funny. There's only a few battles out there, but the two kind of lone Lamborghinis here in the top 20 are mixed in to some of those battles. Steve McLean back here in 15th. We were watching earlier with Alex Zart in 10th place. But looks like Alex Zart on cue, getting past Devin Young now into turn number 1. Battle for a position on the track, but not in class, as Zart in the Platinum Division. Devin Young in the gold, but either way, a good run for both of them here tonight, up into the top 10. Herbert Pineda is leading your gold division, and kind of another one, Jimmy, where we talk about Noah Bourgeois, you know, just get through lap number 1, and you know, everything will be fine, basically. And kind of say the same thing about Pineda. There's so many times where we see him just make that mistake early on and has to fight back, has to claw back. Here tonight, he kept it clean on lap number 1, and wouldn't you know it, he's up here not only in the top 10, but he's leading the gold division by about 8 seconds over Devin Young. So just get through that first lap, figure it out from there. But speaking of that, coming back to the line this time by, pretty sure Barney's about ready to wave the white flag here tonight.
Should be getting ready here as they work their way down around. Got a few more feet to go.
Indeed, Barney waving the white flag. One more lap to go, heading into turn number 1 one more time. Renner trying to use up all the track and then some. Goes a bit wide here in turn number 1, and that is not going to help here. He's not going to be able to have a chance to get a run here in the International Horseshoe. He's going to have to keep it tight through the infield to have any kind of shot for the rest of this lap. Still very close, still, you know, well within drafting range, but he's going to have to, I think, you know, get out of this infield here with maybe less than 0.2 of a second separating the two of them. Right now, it's 0.4 of a second between Bourgeois and Renner. See another incident there for James Pierce. Looks like he's called it a night. Take a look at that here in a second as they're getting ready to head back out onto the oval. The gap, 0.45 of a second, so it is it's maybe a little bit too much right now. Now you'll see the draft come into play. Looks like a pretty good run for Renner out onto the oval, so he'll be able to reel him in here a little bit, heading to the bus stop again. Once they got back out on the track, it was 0.4, and we do got a lap car in the midst here too as well. As we get to the bus stop, he was able to reel in about 0.1 of a second. He's got to have the bus stop of the race here, and a very good run through the bus stop indeed for Renner. This thing may not be over just yet. That lap car may actually be helping Noah Bourgeois here to the end if he can get a sniff of the draft. He's not going to. The lap car goes up high. It's going to be a run back to the line as Renner bobbing and weaving, looking for a way around, goes to the outside. And you've seen it right there. Bourgeois by a nose is going to get the win here tonight. 2 hundredths of a second as Noah Bourgeois going to win here tonight. Renner going to finish in second. Reiner in third. Hamilton coming home in fourth. Jancic's going to have to settle for fifth. Take a look at some of the other battles. Very close here to the line. Kobler going to come home in sixth. Phillips and Pineda for your top 8. Alex Zart holding off Devin Young there to the line. 500ths of a second separating them two for 9th and 10th. It doesn't matter if it's 24 hours or 45 minutes here. I mean, we still had some great runs to the line. I know it's spread out for a while, but definitely some good battles here as the rest of the field finishing up here. We'll take a look back and see what happened here with James Pierce towards the end. This is through the bus stop, and not sure what exactly happened. Maybe they just decided to pull off the track and call it quits, which, well, I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to add my 2 cents into there and how I feel about that, but either way, it is Bourgeois that takes home the win here tonight. We'll get to talk to him and some of the other top finishers, as Ian Southern had some issues here tonight, but he was still able to secure the top spot here in the silver class. Jimmy, while we get these drivers ready for their interviews, why don't you give us a rundown of tonight's finishing order?
Sure, Carl, let me pull up that laundry list of results here for everybody. Winner tonight here in the number 24, getting another victory. Noah Bourgeois gets it done here, and then Ricky Renner will finish in P number 2. So great start and finish there for Ricky. Bryce Reiner finishes in third. Christopher Hamilton finishes in fourth. Craig Jancic will finish back in fifth. Kyle Kobler moves up a few spots, finishing in sixth. Jason Phillips in seventh. Herbert Pineda finishes in eighth. Alex Zart in ninth, and Devin Young for your top 10. Back to the rest of the field, you have Elaine Ballou back there in 11th. Christian Ortiz Torres in 12th, Frank Pisano in 13th, Stephen McLean in 14th, Michael Schwartz in 15th, Javi Sierra in 16th, Austin Green in 17th, Jim Dutton up a few spots in 18th, Dylan Grotzmacher back there in 19th, Tyler Torville in 20th, David Tilford in 21st, Brandon Potts in 22nd, Ian Southern in 23rd, Jay Little up a couple spots in 24th. Jim Herrick finishes up in 25th. He's up 6 spots. Bill Burrell finishes in 26th. Jason Potts in 27th. Jason Pierce back there in P number 28. Ian Wilson in 29th. 30th is going to be Zane Bierman. Renan Dilemma back in 31. Matt Lemke back in 32nd. 33rd is John Espada. Stefan Price finishing in 34th. Cesar Colon Torres in 35th. Daniel Pinkston finishing back in 36th, and then Paul Bailey in 37th, and Todd Torville with an unfortunate start here, finishing in 38th, and David Wells finishing back in 39th. And John Matthews, last one on the track, and I don't know if he raced, didn't qualify, didn't race, but he was out there for practice. So there was 40 cars out there, but the 77 John Matthews did not partake in the race. So 39 cars completed the race here tonight, and there was 21 cars on the lead lap.
I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in here. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. I want to thank our sponsors here as well. Ace Motorsports for sponsoring the Pole Awards for each of the classes. I want to thank Digital Sim Sports for the Clean Driver Award that's going to be awarded at the end of the season. Tonight, our clean drivers, Elaine Below, which we'll talk to here in a second, as he is your hard charger here tonight, and Jim Herrick, as I think he needs to send us some thanks for only showing him a very little bit on the broadcast, or I'm sure there would have been some kind of X's for Jim there. But congrats to both those drivers for finishing with a clean race here tonight. But let's go ahead and get some of our top drivers in here for some interviews, and we'll go ahead and switch it up here a little bit. We're going to bring in the driver of the 99 here first, and that's going to be Herbert Pineda. Herbert, a heck of a race here tonight, and I kind of joked earlier, we joke with Noah Bourgeois quite a bit that, just get through lap number one. Get through lap number one, and then, you know, settle in, see how everything works out. It seems like you can kind of say the same thing for you. If you can get that 99 through lap number one and settle in here, you end up having a great race here. I mean, you finish up there in the top 10 and you win the gold class.
Yeah, the beginning of the race, it was pretty, it was pretty decent. Took it easy for a couple of laps and just settled down. I ended up doing the pit stop. I ended up taking an extra lap of fuel, which I forgot to take off the margin. So I kind of dropped back a little bit from Devon, but then I got lucky. He spun out somewhere and ended up in front of him. And from there, I just made sure I stayed behind the other guys in the draft and for the last 10 minutes and just stay there so I didn't lose any time trying to fight for an extra spot. It would have been nice to get a couple of extra spots, but the most important thing was the gold wing, so that's what we got.
Well, you damn near had a couple extra spots there right at the end, as you were right there with Kyle Kobler and Jason Phillips running to the line, and they were battling out just like you were waiting there, I'm sure, to pick up some pieces, but unfortunately they kept it straight, and you finished in 8th instead of 6th. But either way, I mean, it's got to feel good. You come here to Daytona, certainly completely different from Adelaide, a track that you know very well here, I'm sure, and it makes it a lot tougher because all these other drivers here know this track as well. So coming home with the top 10, let alone the gold class wins, got to feel good.
Right. I do have questions about Australians, how they drive on the wrong side of the road and make Adelaide, So, yeah, Bathurst, all right. But Adelaide, I don't know. I got questions. I need to talk to a supervisor.
I mean, listen, we can petition iRacing to have you guys drive on the other side of the GT3 car next time you go there if you want to. But
well, we could always drive the LMP3 around. So
there you go. Or just get you out there in the V8 supercars where it's supposed to be for Adelaide. But,
there you go. Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well,
yeah, the supercars. Yeah, no.
A whole nother beast.
Formula 4 or something. It'll be a lot easier than that.
Some Formula V's.
Probably. Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, listen. Congrats on the great run here tonight, the class win here, and the gold. Before we let you go and get out of here, who you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
First and foremost, say thanks to the wife, because without her support, I wouldn't be able to enjoy my hobby. Shout out to the boys over at Ace Motorsports. I have a new grandkid coming in August, so that'll be number 5.
Congratulations.
So congratulations to my daughters. Thank you. And thank you guys for the broadcasting, and thanks to all the guys and the admins at CSRL.
We appreciate that, buddy. Once again, congrats on the good finish here tonight. We'll let you go celebrate this one and see you next week. See if you can get through that lap number 1 again.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
That is your top.
Have a good night, guys.
You too, buddy. That's your top finisher here in the gold class, finishing 8th overall, Herbert Pineda, and the 99. Top spot in the silver class, Jimmy, is going to go to a driver that certainly had some ups and downs here tonight, but the 4044 of Ian Southern gets it done.
How's it going, fellas?
Hey, welcome to the booth, man. Great run here tonight at Daytona. Obviously, not quite sure if you 100% sure if you partook in the 24-hour event, but back again here at Daytona is always typically a race driver's favorite, or they don't mind coming here anyway. So, give us a little rundown of your race, man, as you were able to lock in that top spot.
Well, I mean, yeah, I did run a Daytona 24 there on the Ace team, Ace Motorsports. Tonight, I mean, that track was hot. It's hot. So yeah, it was a little bit different. I couldn't really qualify properly, so I was back on the grid at 25th, I think. And then I got going, got all the way up to 15th, and then the bus stop happened. And I effing hate that place.
We watched it. We seen it.
Lost traction on the front. Decided to chew the wall. So yeah. Other than that, yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those tricky spots. It wasn't but a couple years ago they introduced them dang curbs in that bus stop, and they took them away shortly therefore after. But yeah, they don't play nice. They got some good hops out of there if you hit them correctly, and if you're going slow enough, they'll beat you too. But it's definitely a unique corner to make drivers kind of look at it. I know it's pretty easy to get into the bus stop, but that exit can be tricky or deceiving as you see the inner curb, and then you see the big turtles just lurking right there next to it. So
there's definitely, every time I approach it, there's definitely a turtle's head. I know that.
But it makes it very challenging. You were able to conquer it here tonight over your peers, and you were able to get that top spot. So congratulations on getting that victory there in that division, and we wanted to say congratulations up here in the booth and from all the fans, and give you a little bit of time for any shouts you may have.
Thanks very much. And no, I don't have any friends, so got no one to shout out
What
to.
are your friends, Ian? You got us out here, buddy.
Ace Motorsports. Ace Motorsports. Don't forget that.
Yep, Ace Motorsports.
Oh, yeah.
Your teammates.
He was on Ace Motorsports until he just said that.
I heard Ian's looking for a new team. Maybe their Daytona 24 wasn't so good.
No, it was actually really good.
But no, again, man, congratulations either way. And we'll let you go celebrate. If you don't have no friends, maybe there's some family out there. We'll let you go celebrate. And
they don't like me either.
They don't like you either. Okay, or your family. We got you. We'll adopt you. Come up in the booth anytime.
Thanks, fellas.
Yeah, man. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your night, man.
And you. Bye.
That is your top finisher here in the silver class, the 444 of Ian Southern. Looking for a championship here in the silver, and maybe some friends out there as well. So anybody wants to jump on board the 444 bandwagon, certainly do so. I had a few good finishes now already this season. Second place here tonight, we're going to bring in next, and that's going to be the driver of the 53, Ricky Renner. Ricky, we don't typically talk to the rookies here, but this is the second time now we had you up here on the podium. Obviously, it didn't work out too well at Adelaide last week, or maybe we would have talked to you 3 times in a row. But here tonight, you used a little bit of drafting to get you and Noah away, and that drafting certainly paid off on the pit stop.
Yeah, for sure. I was planning on, if I got out of turn 1 in the lead, to try to sprint and build a gap, and hopefully there was like a mistake and I could get out of the draft. But if not, I was preferred to be P2 just so that I could save some fuel and hopefully take enough less at the pit stop to get out of draft range. And I just happened to come out at like 1 second on the dot.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh no. So every lap I just watched it tick down like a 10th, another 10th on the straightaway, stay the same to the infield, straightaway, there's another 10th, and then once you're inside like 6, 7 tenths, it just starts coming off in chunks on the straights. But I mean, it's stressful when they're just out of draft range, but it's always more fun going door to door.
I don't know what's worse when if you come out there, if you came out of the pits 1.2 seconds out in front, knowing that you're out of draft range, and all of a sudden you look a lap or 2 later and all of a sudden they're in draft range, it may be even more demoralizing. But I mean, you certainly didn't just throw it away once he got around you. It took him a little bit to catch up to you, made that move, and got around you into turn number 1. But you didn't just give it up for sure. You were right there battling literally all the way to the line.
Yeah, I had flashbacks of last season with Mason, where he got the drag race on me down the last straight. So I was like, I don't want to fight too hard if he wants to send it around here. I don't mind being second and just get the draft down the last straight and go for a pass. But he just defended it really well, and came up just short again.
Well, I mean, it looked like you might have been out of it with a little bit of a rough entry into turn number 1 on that last lap. Yeah. And I said, I feel like he's got to gain it back to about 0.2 of a second once they get back onto the main track. And you were back to about 0.4 of a second, but you got the bust stop of your life there on that last lap, and you were able to reel him right in.
Yeah, it definitely helped me that he got a bad run there. My intention, honestly, during the race after he got by was really a move on the infield in one of the horseshoes. And that last lap, I went a little wide and tried to square up turn 1 and wanted to go inside in the first horseshoe, but I just got stuck out there on that little off camber in the dirty line and just couldn't get the car rotated. And honestly, I thought it was over there, but then he didn't get the best bus stop exit, which really helped.
Well, listen, I know it sucks losing by 0.02 of a second, especially after the entire race here, and you guys had a great battle all race long. But either way, you have another great finish here tonight, and I want to give you some time for any shout-outs or thanks you may have before we let you go.
Thanks. It's always good, even if it's a slight loss, as long as it's a good race, I'm happy with it. But shout out to the whole simraces.com crew. Not all able to race, but Shorts was out there, so that's cool. The rest of the guys hanging out, trying to get them out here. But they had the Porsche dialed in. It's a nice setup this week. It was running really well. And shout out to you guys for the broadcast and the whole CSRL team for putting on an awesome series. The turnout here is fantastic, and the level of drivers is top-notch out here, so it's been really fun.
Well, it was certainly fun watching you guys here tonight, so congrats again on the second place. We'll let you go celebrate. Hopefully you can keep this good run here going this season.
Yeah, see you guys next week.
That is your second place finisher, top running rookie here tonight, the 53 of Ricky Renner. Top spot here, Jimmy. He had to work for it a little bit here in the end, but the 24, Noah Bourgeois, going to get the win.
Noah, Jimmy and Carlton, the booth, you copy, buddy.
I got you guys. How we doing?
Another great week here for that car, and you know, you had good qualifying and able to get out front and a battle down to the wire where you're just edged out, able to defend the run there from Ricky. You know, obviously 45 minutes, a race and a track that we're all super familiar with. How was it out there tonight?
It was hot. It was much hotter than anything than the Daytona 24 was for us. I believe the beginning of practice was 105-degree track temp, which was just bonkers compared to what the weekend was. But yeah, I mean, we're all fighting the same thing out here, so it's kind of just part of it. Lap 1, got first. Tried to break away, quickly realized that was not going to happen. So then I just knew that it was fuel conservation as much as I could, try and hold on. I thought I was screwed once I pit, and Ricky didn't pit, but he came out right in front of me like 1 second out, and I tried my damnedest to close in on him, got it, made the move early on him because I didn't think that the run to the line would be possible, but of course I had a bad bus stop and made it way closer than it probably should have been. But yeah,
we appreciate
it. It was intense start to finish. I didn't really have a game plan the whole time. I was just trying to feel things out and just hope for the luck of the draft, honestly.
Yeah, the draft is obviously one of those things that, you know, you try to use it when you can, get rid of it when you can, you know, because obviously, I mean, it does benefit, you know, for drivers, especially leaders, if they work together, as much as they don't want to be around each other. After you work together, you can move away from the rest of the field. So if you do end up battling, you don't have to worry about the couple like third, fourth, and fifth, or whoever's, you know, not right all up your bumper, and, you know, if you make a mistake, you're not losing 20 spots. So yep. So you guys did a fantastic job. I think you executed it the way you should have. Obviously the pit stops kind of set it you all apart a little bit, and that's when things kind of got spread out, but you and Ricky were able to kind of keep in touch with each other. It definitely made things interesting, you know, along with your battles and a few of the other ones that were throughout the field that we were watching. So yeah, great run, man. Great show there. But of course, you know, class act here tonight. So just want to say congratulations, man, and obviously give you some time for any shouts you might have.
Appreciate it. Well, huge shout out to Digital Sim Sports. We ran the Daytona 24 with them, and not to try and toot my own horn or anything, but we ended up winning the Daytona 24 this weekend. So I'm on a pretty good run at Daytona, so hopefully we can keep that up next time we come here. Once again, huge shout out to my dad. He's been super supportive, watching me week in, week out, being informed of what's going on and asking me about this and that, and giving me a hard time when I make mistakes, as most other people do. Yeah. And yeah, shout out to my girlfriend once again, as always, just supporting me each and every week with the racing endeavor. And yeah, we'll try and go get them next week.
I'll definitely look forward to seeing you back out there and continue your march forward to maybe wind up with a championship. But obviously, you have the hard charging Craig Jancic and a lot of others along with on your tail. It's not easy anymore.
I'm not taking my foot off the gas pedal this whole time. I think you guys probably have known my driving well enough by now to know that. That's for sure.
Well, again, congratulations. Thanks for the kind words, and we'll definitely see you next week. So we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Yes, sir.
That's your winner here tonight overall and in the Platinum class, the 24 of Nor Bourgeois, getting it done here. It didn't start on the pole for everyone's here. We actually didn't see the 24 or the 97 starting on the pole. It was Ricky Renner that started on the pole, but it was Nor Bourgeois that was able to get to the front early and maybe help Ricky have a chance at the win with all that drafting throughout the first run, but just edged him out at the end by 0.02 of a second. But at the end of the day, doesn't matter if it's 0.2 or 2 minutes, it's still a win. So congrats to Nor Bourgeois. But we got one more driver that we're going to get in here, and that is going to be tonight's Chris Burrell Hard Charger Sandbagger Award winner, and that's going to go to Elaine Bellio. And I mean, a heck of a run for you here tonight in the 509. You started back there in 22nd. I guess first start us off there. I mean, was it just a rough qualifying effort here? Did you kind of miss some of your marks, or was that the speed that you had at the time?
I just ran into some hardware issues. Pretty hardcore on the VR, so was running very poor frames through that, even though I ran the 24 this weekend at Daytona and everything was running smooth through there, but just wasn't cooperating today, so I had to switch over to the single monitor and make it work.
Yeah, Daytona, trust me, we had some issues here in the booth, but Daytona for some reason just going to be, well, for lack of better words, it's going to be a pain in the ass on the system. It's just so much going on. But yeah. I mean, here tonight it was kind of a pain for you to work your way through the field here. But I guess if there's any track that you can set up passes, and if you're a better driver, you'll find a way around. Daytona kind of helps you out a little bit in that way.
Yeah, definitely a lot of places to go on the attack. I found turn one was definitely the better one for myself. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of places around here that you could set up a good run.
Well, listen, if you started 22nd, but you finished in 11th, up 11 spots, so certainly a good run through the field and a little bit better finish than you certainly had. A start, didn't get the class win. I think that was going to be out of reach regardless, as Herbert Pineda putting in a good effort here tonight. But either way, it's got to feel good to finish up here on the podium for the class.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good run, all in all.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll let you get back to setting your triples back up. Hopefully, don't have to deal with any Daytona issues again here. But either way, before we let you go here tonight, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, shout out to the wife, and shout out to the boys at DDS. Shout out to Noah, Kyle for getting me fast around this place over the weekend and carrying it on here on Wednesday. Appreciate it. Thanks to you guys in the booth, and yeah. See you guys next Wednesday.
All right, buddy. Well, congrats again here, and hopefully a little bit better qualifying effort for you next week. And we'll talk to you maybe for a class win.
For sure, man. Take it easy, guys.
You too, buddy. That is your Chris Burrell Hard Charger Sandbagger Award winner, the 509 of Elaine Ballio. That is going to do it here for us here tonight. Do want to thank our other sponsors here that I didn't get to mention yet. That's going to be 40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racers. Designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 sim racing shoes, custom engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, while still providing the comfort needed for those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products, including the original racing gloves for your feet. For Martin PC, they are focused on providing high-quality PCs, rigs, and components at an affordable price. Your investment in sim racing is exactly the same as racing with an actual car, and they take that same methodology at Martin. From the engine PC to the chassis rig, pedals, wheels, and shifter, you deserve components that match your desire to compete. That is going to do it here for Daytona for the CSRL GT Series, but we're not done here tonight. We get the second half of our doubleheader coming up with the Pit Road Speed Limit Racing Series, as they are going to be heading to, why am I brain farting where they're at here? They are at Indy. That's right. They're and not at the road course. They're at the big old 4-turn oval out there in Indy. So looking forward to a good one out there. If you're not done watching some racing here tonight, certainly click over there and check us out for the second half of this doubleheader. And then tomorrow night we got the Virtual Velocity Racing as they head to Kentucky for their race tomorrow night. But for myself and Jimmy here from the Daytona International Speedway, we'll see you at the track.
Peace.